Welcome to Power Players, the series that talks to some of the most influential figures in the world of sport about their rise, the success of their sport, and what the future holds. Now, it's one of the more unusual career transitions from top-level footballer. He's played for AC Milan, Crystal Palace, Arsenal, and now he's the CEO of a biochemicals company. That's the journey made by Mathieu Flamini. Even while playing football, pretty much at the highest level, Flamini had his eyes on another goal, making a difference to the planet. So he co-founded GFBiochemicals more than a decade ago. The mission? Figuring out how to produce household items like shampoo, shower gel, with the ingredients of agricultural waste without using fossil fuels. My colleague, Tom Mackenzie, spoke to Flamini about his journey from the football pitch to entrepreneur.
Mathieu Flamini, thank you very much indeed. It has been a long journey, an unusual journey, many would say, from top-flight footballer to the CEO of a biochemical company. And for many people, it would strike them as pretty unusual in terms of a career shift. Does it strike you as strange? How did you get to this point?
This is not a very usual transition, I would say. But that started a long time ago when I was still 5 years old. I remember I had a long collect of plastic on the beach because my dad used to be a diver by passion. And at the time, growing by the sea in Marseille, I had two huge passions. My first love was for football. I've been very privileged because I've lived of this passion for over 20 years. And the second passion, another topic which I was very much aware since an early age, and which we were talking a lot at home, was like sustainability. And at the age of 25, when I moved from Arsenal to play for AC Milan in Italy, I had the opportunity to meet with a team of scientists and to develop with the Polytechnic of Milan a partnership. And from that day, we decided to basically tackle the petrochemical industry and to bring solution in order to greener this industry, which is today generating 1/3 of the oil demand.
I mean, to the point, 5 years old, this seed for you was planted at a very young age.
Yes, I think passion starts, when you start growing. From a very early age, I started to develop this passion for the environment, for the sea. I always loved the sea, and year after year, it grew inside of me. And I think being an athlete, obviously, you have to be 200% committed to your career because this is a priority and this is total commitment when you want to succeed at the top level. But also athletes, let's not forget we are human beings and we also have passion. And for me, I also wanted to live that passion and to bring solutions to sustainability, to bring solutions to the climate change. And without very much knowing in which direction to go. But I trusted the scientists, I trusted the Polytechnic of Milan. And together we started in a direction to bring like a bio-based solution to the market.
You had 3 FA Cup wins. Success. You won the Italian league, you were capped 3 times for France, for the national team. You had all of that success, but also at the same time you were building out this plan from the age of 25. How did you hold those two worlds together in that initial phase?
First of all, let me say that I love the challenge. Once you have succeeded once and you have realized to dream is allowed and you can succeed, like in your dream, then you ask yourself the question is like, why not a second time? At the time when I started to go in that direction and to develop bio-based ingredients for the market and to take that direction, I was the first one not to be convinced and I didn't really know in which direction, all this was going to take me. So I think it's all about surrounding yourself from the right people. I've been extremely lucky because as an athlete, I always had my family very close to me, my close friend, and also I was working with people extremely knowledgeable and people I could trust. Same thing has happened in business, and I've applied, I would say, the same formula, was to surround myself with people, one, I can trust, and people which were extremely knowledgeable and extremely successful in what they were doing. You have to trust in your dream, and you have to believe that everything is possible, because if it worked for me, it can work for anybody.
What are the skills that you honed on the pitch that you've been able to apply to running the business?
So many people ask me, but how can you transition, I will say, from the pitch to the business? There are many learnings. The first one is you have to perform under pressure. when you play in front of 80,000 people, I mean, there is a huge pressure, but being an entrepreneur, this is not easy, and the same, you have to deal with the pressure and you have to perform. This is the first aspect. Second aspect is resilience. Resilience is very important. Hard work, dedication, sacrifice, all those things, I mean, are necessary if you want to be successful. And so this is exactly what I've been trying, or what I've applied in my career of an athlete, and which I'm applying today in my career of an entrepreneur. I will always say the team is always more important than the individual, and everybody can be replaced.
And you talked about leadership, and you played under, arguably, if you were to pick out some of the world's top football managers, Arsene Wenger would be near the top of the list. You played under Arsene Wenger. Did you take anything from his leadership? Did you learn anything from Arsene Wenger that you apply to your leadership at GF?
So I've been extremely lucky because I played under Carlo Ancelotti, but I also played under Arsene Wenger, which is for sure one of the top managers of all time. Arsene definitely played a very important role in my life as an athlete, but also as a human being and as a man. And I'm very thankful, very much thankful for everything he has done for me.
And Mathieu, what kind of leader are you? How would you describe your leadership?
This is a very difficult question, because this should be a question asked maybe to someone who knows me well. I don't know if I'm a leader, but one thing is for sure is I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do, and I hope the way I'm talking about it, you can feel it. I think being a leader is about being humble, is about working very hard, is about being very demanding with yourself. And I strongly believe that if people can feel the authenticity, if people can feel the passion, they will trust you and they'll follow you.
You work in an industry that requires a lot of patience, because it takes a long time to get these products to market. How much of a challenge is that for you, that kind of mismatch between your own character and the industry in which you work? Every
single product we use in our everyday are ingredients made of fossil fuel. Okay? So when we speak about energetic transition, when we speak about tackling climate change, we have to address, this problem by bringing solutions. In this industry, we expect the times to be long. I always challenge them to say, okay, if this adaptation of product takes 2 years, instead of accepting it, why don't we ask ourselves, how can we reduce it? We were created 15 years ago, 13 years ago, to help the large chemical group, to large FMCG company, to accelerate this transition by going away from ingredients coming from fossil fuel, by bringing more safer and sustainable ingredients, which are derivatives of biomass, which are being used in a product we use every day. At GFBiochemicals, what we are doing basically is we are replacing all those harmful and unsustainable ingredients which we find in the consumer goods of every day, and we replace them by safer and more sustainable plant-based ingredients. And today we work with the largest petrochemical industry and the largest FMCG company in order to help them accelerate this transition from, I will say, a petrochemical industry based on fossil fuel to a bio-based industry based on plant-based ingredients. The solution has to be brought today, not tomorrow, because we know we're already late in tackling this issue of climate change.
Coming up, Mathieu Flamini shares his goal for a global biochemical transition.
There is huge pressure on those big groups from the FMCG company, and the ones which are basically not transitioning quick enough will disappear.
Welcome back to Power Players. The ex-footballer Mathieu Flamini and his company GFBiochemicals are working on tackling chemical pollution. Bloomberg's Mackenzie digs into the details.
GFBiochemicals is the only company, correct me if I'm wrong, globally, that produces something called levulinic, which is a byproduct of biomass, and you also do the derivatives. Just explain for the layperson what this chemical compound is and why it's so significant.
The US Department of Energy 10 years ago announced the 12 molecules of the future with the potential to greener the industry. And one of them was levulinic acid. What we do with levulinic acid, first we start from biomass, so agriculture waste, which we then convert into levulinic acid. In the same way, you can refine it and you can go to a large number of ingredients. Okay? We start from biomass, so we cut up to 90% CO2 emission when we replace with our ingredients and ingredients coming from the fossil fuel industry. And why it is so interesting is because the same way that you can create derivatives from oil, you can create derivatives from levulinic acid, and you can go to shampoo, shower gel, paints, you can do some bio-based pesticides. Those are all the applications where you can penetrate with the ingredients coming from levulinic acid.
Where are we in that transition? Are you seeing a point where biochemicals overtake petrochemicals? What kind of time frame? How would you characterize where we are in this particular moment?
So I think we are at a turning point. Why? Because we see on one side a regulator which is taking more and more action. I mean, we have seen that they have already done that in other industry. If you take the fuel industry, I mean, in every liter of fuel you put in your car, you have today up to 17% of biofuel. Same for plastic. I mean, now there is a new regulation. We say in every kilo of plastic you need to have roughly 25% of recycled plastic. And hopefully we will pass a new regulation which basically will say, like, in every product we use, you need to have like a minimum of 20 or 25% of plant-based ingredient in it. We are becoming more and more knowledgeable. So this is putting a lot of pressures on the large FMCG company. L'Oréal is announcing 95% bio-based by 2030. Unilever, which is announcing to be 100% bio-based by 2030 in all the cleaning product. I mean, those companies basically standing up. I mean, very soon they're going to be accountable. And they also need to have access to technology to help them to transition. And without technology, today we have close to 200 different IP, so patent. We're helping those industries to basically become cleaner.
There is a bit of a stereotype around footballers that footballers don't have the smarts, basically. There's not a lot of intellect. And it is a stereotype, and you've clearly busted that wide open. But was it a challenge going into boardrooms and trying to convince people that this was a business proposition that was worth listening to, coming from a footballer?
Of course, it's been a stereotype for many years, and this has been a challenge. And like I told you before, I mean, like, I'm a man of challenge. So many times I had to work twice harder than the others. I was considered, I would say, like a minority. You know, like in a chemical industry, an athlete coming in that industry with a zero chemical background, you have to demonstrate, you have to prove that you deserve to be sitting at the table of negotiations.
Are you tapping on the doors? Are you having to knock down doors at Procter & Gamble, Unilever, L'Oréal to convince them that they need to change up their recipes? Because it's not just a simple question of substituting your product for their existing petrochemical derivatives. It involves re-engineering the recipes. How difficult is it convincing those corporations to make that change? So
maybe 10 years ago, we had to knock down the door, or even 5 years ago. But I think now everything have accelerated. I think the demand is coming from the consumers. People like me are requesting safer and more sustainable products. Today, if you go to the supermarket and you're buying some washing machine, product, you see you have on one side the petrol-based one, and on the other side you have the plant-based one. I can guarantee you that in a matter of 3-5 years, the petrol-based one won't be there anymore. Okay? And then as a next step, what will happen, they will tell you the level of CO2 emission they have created. And for consumer people like you or people like me, it will become so much easier. There is huge pressure on those big groups from the chemical industry, from the FMCG company, and the ones which are basically not transitioning quick enough will disappear. And today, one thing also which is very important is innovation. Innovation doesn't necessarily come from those big groups. You need first to justify the profit. So this innovation, which is requested by the consumers, this innovation also comes from companies like ours, because we don't have this legacy. We are much more agile, and we can be adapting much quicker.
But you talked about profit and obviously cost, and there's a big focus right now on inflation and prices going up. Isn't there an argument that your products are going to make things pricier? Can you compete on price?
I'll give you a few examples. Solar panel. You remember solar energy at the time, maybe 10, 15 years ago? I mean, everybody used to say, oh, this is so expensive. Today, to produce solar energy is becoming cheaper than to extract oil. First aspect. Let's not forget that the price of oil is continuously fluctuating. So, I mean, today has never been as high, okay? Meaning that if you are basing your ingredients on fossil fuel, every time the price of oil is going up, your ingredients are going up. I mean, for us, we start from second generation feedstock, from leftover from biomass. So we don't have this difference of price which you can find when you start from fossil fuel.
You are challenging some very, very wealthy, powerful, vested interests. Some of them want to partner with you, others pushing back, presumably. Have you faced that pushback? This is a big industry with a lot of money and a lot of politics and a lot of vested interest.
It's better to be relevant or to be loved by a few than to be tolerated by many. So we are loved by a few. I mean, some of them are trying to fight us, but like I say, we're not fighting the large chemical groups or the large players here. We are partnering with them. We work with the ones who want to work with us. We work with the ones who believe in the same mission. And we work with the ones which have also like the same passion and ambition to basically transition from petrochemical industry to a bio-based one, because we will be the ones who will be the most successful.
And just on the funding question, you did raise that 15 million euros last year. Where are you in fundraising? Do you need to tap markets again? Do you need to raise additional capital? And what are your IPO plans?
So what's important is for over 10 years, we basically like funding the company ourselves. Last year, what we wanted more importantly is like we wanted to bring additional credibility and to send a strong message to many people out there. We are opening a new facility, an R&D facility in the south of France. We're also like intending on a short notice to make a new facility in France, which we hope to announce, in the near future. So, I mean, the priority right now is like to create value and to be able to serve the market, because there is a huge demand.
And just very briefly pivoting away from GFBiochemicals, just for this question, because you've invested some seed capital as well in some startups, many of them in the eco space as well, the clean tech space. There's been a lot of speculation about Arsenal and a few headlines about this. If Arsenal ever came up for sale, if there was ever an opportunity to invest in Arsenal, would you ever throw your hat into the ring and say, yeah, I might be interested?
Yeah, I've seen like a lot of headlines about that. I think like this has never been discussed, and my priority is my business, trying to bring solution to the climate change. Also, I like health investments. Also looking at sometimes like some opportunity in startups which are like focusing on like how to live better and how to live longer, and bringing also solutions like to this climate change issue. But no, I've never been considering like buying Arsenal. I mean, this is a club which I've loved for many years, but this is not my focus at all. I mean, my focus now is GFBiochemicals, making sure that we are the most successful possible.
Coming up, Mathieu Flamini discusses the role we all play in creating a greener planet. Welcome back. Mathieu Flamini spent more than 2 decades as a footballer playing for Arsenal, AC Milan, and he is now the CEO of GFBiochemicals, the chemicals company he co-founded. The former midfielder talks to Bloomberg's Tom Mackenzie about what he has learned.
How important is it for you to pair the business with climate activism? Is there more that can be done on a global scale to tackle the blight of plastic in our oceans? And what would that look like?
100%. I think regulation. I mean, like regulation has an important role to play. I mean, we have to tax basically the ones which are polluting. I mean, if you talk about like the large groups which are using like millions of tons of plastic, I mean, they have to be accountable for this plastic. All this plastic needs to be recycled. And if it's not, they have to be accountable. This is one aspect. 2, we need to also empower people. I mean, and we need to empower people and make them realize that even small change put together at big scale, I mean, could have a massive impact.
Do you think footballers could do more to be vocal on some of these issues, can use their platform, can use their at least financial privilege to stand up and be more vocal on some of these issues? Would you like to see that?
I mean, this is not easy, but I will speak about sport in general, because, I mean, sport is about the athletes, sport is about the organizations, sport is about the clubs. And I think football in general, I mean, is probably one of those industries we're still able to unite people, to bring people together, and to help people to dream. So definitely sport, athlete, clubs, they have a social responsibility. I mean, when you look at social media, I mean, like every athlete, every football club has millions of followers. Those followers are young kids. They are the next generation. So everyone has to be a role model. I think this is very important. So because of this social responsibility, it is a duty to inspire others and to show the right example.
What changes have you made in your own life to try and reduce your own carbon footprint?
So first I've been creating this company, and we're trying to drive change and to bring solution every day. I'm also a vegan. So I've cut animal protein a long time ago, and this had not only, I would say, a positive impact on climate change, but more importantly, this has an impact on my health. Whenever I can, what I do is I travel by train. Whenever I can, I take the bicycle or I walk. I strongly believe that empowering the people and telling people that once you put all those small changes together, this has a huge impact. Sometimes I speak with some friend of mine and I say, okay, don't do like me. Don't stop animal protein completely. But do it, every 2 days, you don't have animal protein. Already you cut it by 50%, which is huge. So those small changes, not only they have a positive impact on the planet, but they also have a positive impact on yourself, because so many times we don't realize, but you don't only doing it for the planet, you do it for yourself. We all live in big cities. Pollution. I think pollution is killing millions of people every year. You live in a big city, I live in a big city. How do I escape that? You simply can't. You go to India, they can't exercise outdoor. You go to China, they cannot exercise outdoor. Do we want that to happen also in Europe? I don't think so.
Does it worry you when you look at clubs like Newcastle, owned by the Saudis, or Man City, owned by the Qataris, the petrodollar influence in the sport of football? Does that concern you as a climate activist?
Obviously, this is a question which we can ask ourselves, but I also think that Saudi, Abu Dhabi, I think they are very much aware and also have realized that there is a transition happening. And I've seen in many opportunities like Saudi, Abu Dhabi, investing in renewable energy, realizing that to diversify and to be able to also go away from fossil fuel, there is a new demand coming from the market, from people like you, from people like me. And in order to be there in 50, 100 years, they also have to transition. So that's why I think the question is not, is it right or not that they're investing in football, they're investing in sport? The question is are they transitioning quick enough? And would it be relevant for them to maybe invest even more, I will say, in clean energy, in bio-based material, and in solutions to basically tackle climate change?
You're basically saying, hey guys, invest in us.
Now what I'm saying is like many industry which has realized that in order to be successful in the future, you need to be part of this transition. I think Saudi and Abu Dhabi also have realized that this is very important for them to accelerate this transition and to be part of those technology of the future.
Mathieu Flamini, when you look back at your career, you're still youthful, you're still young, but you look back, 3 FA Cup wins, you've been capped for France 3 times, you won the Italian League. What are you most proud of? Are you most proud of that kind of success, or are you most proud of founding and being the CEO of GFBiochemicals?
I think when I was 5, I had a dream, which was to be a football player. And I've been privileged because I've been able to live that dream for so long. I was also passionate about climate change, and now for the past 10 years, I'm slowly proving to myself first and proving to everybody around that you can have a dream and you can be successful, you can have another dream and you can also be successful. So for me, what I'm the most proud is maybe to show the young kids out there that 1, they are allowed to dream, and 2, they can believe in the dream because they can be successful maybe one day to achieve it.
Mathieu Flamini, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
That was the footballer turned Biochemicals CEO, Mathieu Flamini, speaking to Bloomberg's Tom Mackenzie. And that's Bloomberg Power Players, bringing you the conversations with influential figures from around the world in sport. Thanks for watching.